Hi everyone, it's Thursday. We're almost to the weekend, and this is another episode of Cooped Up Live. Oh, Thursday. Thursday afternoon. That means tomorrow is Friday, and then we have the weekend. Although, what does a weekend mean right now if we're never leaving our houses anyway? So yesterday I was wearing a kerchief, and my friend Brian, who I've known for a million years, accused me of having weak scarf game. So I thought, I'll show you, bitch. And so I busted out the Hermes that I wore to black tie dinner this year over my tuxedo. But we'll be sassy. We'll be sassy. So, hi Anna. And Arden is here. She's my biggest fan. Thank you. She's actually my Hermes scarf inspiration. So I am wearing it. Actually, it's my first time wearing it since I wore it to black tie dinner. And it's got one of my favorite colors, pink, in it. So I love it. So can you imagine going through what we're going through right now, the social isolation, I haven't had enough of this yet. The social isolation without social media, I mean, I would go nuts if I did not have like a view to the outside world and what other people are doing and how they're going. I could deal without a lot of the hysterical comments that we're seeing and all of that, but it is something else. Thank goodness we've got this. So, and one of my goals is just to bring a little light to the day. It's just levity, not too serious. Obviously, not too serious. I'm wearing a big pink Hermes scarf, my painted fingernails, and my Olive Garden pour. Cheers, everybody! It's Friday Eve. Tomorrow is the last day of the week. Love it. Brian, I wore this just for you. I don't know if you saw. You told me I had weak scarf game yesterday, and I said, I'm going to bring it, bitch. And so I did. So I'm channeling my Dr. Birx. Is that how you say her last name? Birx, B-I-R-X, from the CDC or wherever she's from. So anyway, love it. Love it. So one of the news items that I saw come out today was, and this is very apropos of our happy hour together, is that Texas has ranked number one in alcohol consumption during the pandemic. Number one. And it was based on tweets or something like that. I don't know. They did some research, but it was a funny study, but we were number one. And as I always say, if you can't be good at it. So here we go. Cheers, y'all. It's the really funny thing, though, is those of us who here in Texas to realize is that we have made like a total 180 from a state perspective on our views on alcohol over the last like 10 years. So here in Dallas, like just as little as like 5 years ago, the part of town where we live was dry. You could not buy beer or wine in a grocery store, any store, period. And you had to have a membership at a restaurant or a bar. So we had these unicards, and mine was like this little threadbare piece of paper that I'd had for years. And you buy a membership, and you get like your first drink for free. So it's kind of just whatever. It's a bullshit thing. But they were required to like keep track of who's drinking and who's a member and all of that stuff. So then a few years ago, different places started going damp, as we call it, where they can serve beer and wine. Sell beer and wine. And so like the grocery store cleared out like 3 aisles that used to have groceries on them, and that's now wine and beer. And now, like with this pandemic, holy moly. I saw a meme the other day that at this point you can buy booze from a Girl Scout table in front of McDonald's. I mean, literally, if you go pick up to-go food, you just have to order like a French fry, a single French fry, and you can have to-go drinks with it, alcohol, like margaritas and wine and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's every drunkard for himself at this point. Cheers to that. I want to know what's going to happen next, though. Now that we're all kind of like, oh, that wasn't so bad, or how wonderful is that? You can get a margarita with your Mexican food to go. Like, sign me up. Like, I'm wondering, like, how are they going to take that away from us? Is the cow out of the barn? Is the tube out of the toothpaste? Or are we all just going to go back to pretending like it was never any different anyway? So I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see. Arden is saying, after our happy hour last night, I told myself I wouldn't drink again today, but I couldn't let you drink alone. Oh, y'all are such good people. Drinking with me at 4 o'clock every afternoon, weekdays at 4. Hey, Sherry, this is the scarf that I wore for black tie dinner. This is one of the ways. the one beautiful thing about these Hermes scarves is that they're actually mine has 4 patterns on it. So depending on which way I have folded it, it has like a different. The side shows more pink, but then you can see that there's a part that has more yellow. Yes, and this is the gayest conversation ever, by the way. And then Hannah's asking, I wonder what companies and their remote workforces will do as well. So I like having an office, and my people have told me they prefer being at the office. But one of the things that we figured out, we actually work remotely together. So we have had to introduce no additional tools to accommodate this. We already had an online project management system named Monday.com. I do all my invoicing online, bookkeeping is online. We obviously have email and GChat. The only thing is we actually met in person instead of this like Google Hangouts that we're doing or Zoom calls that we're doing. So that was really the only big difference. But we do kind of miss each other, and you do miss a little bit of the little chit chat, how's your life kind of stuff. And so I don't really want that to go away, but we could probably do a lot more remote working. We were originally planning to go to Paris for a month this summer, and I was going to remote work from Paris, but I don't know if that's happening anymore. We'll see on that. But if not, I'll just stick to my French white at home. So anyway, number 1, an alcohol consumption. But I think Ina Garten is giving us a run for our money. Have y'all seen her post that she posted yesterday? I think it was on Instagram. She put a recipe for making a Cosmo, but it was so funny. She was like, first of all, it was in this giant jug, and she was like, just a cup of vodka, glug, 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 glug. Just a cup of, I don't know, triple sec or whatever the other thing, glug, 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 glug. And then she shook it in this shaker that was like the size of bigger than a football, and just shook it and then poured it into this monstrous glass. And then there's been some spoofs that have come out afterwards of people pretending to be her like 6 hours later. I saw one on my friend Donovan's Instagram earlier today that he posted about this woman. She's like, hey, this is Ina Garten, and I'm in my foyer. And if you don't know what a foyer is, that means you're too poor to have one. And we don't want to be friends with you anyway. Cheers, it's a good thing. Actually, it's a good thing. That's Martha Stewart, but you know what I mean. It was hilarious. I am drinking with you, red, not white. Got to change it up. So I can't drink red wine. I actually am allergic to most red wines. They make me have all kinds of sinus pressure, and I start wheezing. And I have another friend, Susan, who has a similar allergy, and she likes it so much. She takes a baby Claritin or baby one of those antihistamines beforehand that you can take a child's version of it so that she can drink red wine. I also can't drink like cheap tequila. Like most frozen margaritas I can't have because it's grain tequila and somehow it triggers. And it's not, I'm not asphyxiating. It's literally just triggering every like sinus, and then I get the headache behind the eyes like we have in allergy season in Texas, which is right now. And I'm already having enough of that, and so I'm not going to contribute to that. So I actually stick to really dry, really cold whites. I prefer French whites, and really dry, not buttery. I'm also like South African whites and Chilean whites because those are all very crisp. They're usually done in stainless steel barrel things, and they're not oak. They're not super oaky. They're not super buttery. And I love them. I love them. So cheers to that. I'm not sure he's nodding her head like I'm talking to you and you hear me. Oh, I can't hear you. You got to type in the comments for me to hear you, but I am talking directly to you. I've actually been really practicing on my videos making eye contact, so I hope it's paying off. Let's see what else I was talking about. Oh, did y'all hear about this train crash in California? So this train engineer, and I read a little bit about it, so I may be having some of my facts wrong, but it's fascinating. So this train engineer, let me back up. There is a ship, a medical ship in some bay in like San Pedro or something. I think it's in Southern California, and they're using it they're setting it up as, or using it as a mobile hospital, let's see, what is it? like where people can go, and I think it's specifically to deal with what they feel is going to be the big influx in the coronavirus. Our convention center here in Dallas, I believe, is setting one up as well. But this is a military ship in San Pedro, California, on the Gulf there, not the Gulf, the coast there. And this engineer who drives a train, or engineers a train, conducts a train, I don't know what they do. But he was moving the train supposedly, and it's like, he saw it as a once in a lifetime opportunity. He accelerates the train and tries to ram full speed, like rams the train locomotive like through the barricades and all that stuff, and it never hit the thing. But supposedly there's video footage of him holding a flare, like in the cockpit or whatever you call the place that the fucking engineer stands. And it's like, it was like that scene on Fried Green Tomatoes, Tallulah, Tawanda, whatever she says. He's doing it, and he's going. And then it got weirder to me so he's being charged with the crime of wrecking a train. There's an actual crime of wrecking a train, and it has a set punishment already. It has a jail time and a fine and all that stuff. Like there's a law that says if you wreck a train, I mean, I consider it terrorism, honestly, what he's doing. But and also he was quoted in the news or telling police officers or something that he was doing it so he could expose what's really happening on that boat. Like he thought it was some conspiracy theory, like, I don't know, alien autopsies or something. I have no idea what he thought it was. I'm not going to speculate on that, or I just did, but not any further. But he was literally like a wackadoo who thought something crazy was happening on that ship or boat and decided to ram it with a train. Like that is just the weirdest thing. So Suzanne likes my scarf. So yesterday again I wore the kerchief, and my friend Brian told me that I had weak scarf game, and I was like, fuck you, bitch. And so I busted out the Hermes. And it's the only time I've worn it since Black Tie Dinner. I wore it over my tuxedo, kind of I was inspired by the final scene of Black Panther when he is going to the United Nations and revealing that Wakanda has all this technology that they're going to lend to the world. I love that movie, by the way. I'm not even a superhero fan, but I love the movie Black Panther. So I saw that and I thought, oh, wow, that's amazing. So I started Googling it, and the director of that movie wears these big scarves all the time over his tuxedo. So I did it. I only saw one other person at the whole event, an old black man who had it as well. And but I predict that there will be a lot more in the coming years. Just call it the Cooped Up effect. I don't know. I'm being stupid at this point. So, but anyway, I busted out. But I am a nervous wreck in this thing. It's so expensive, and I don't know how people wear Hermes on the regular, because I wouldn't eat. I mean, maybe that's why they're all so fucking skinny, because they don't eat anything, because they or you only drink white and you kind of with the straw maybe. What's the first thing you want to do when all this craziness is over? Arden is asking me. I want some fucking Mexican food is what I want, and some chips and salsa and some queso, and to go to a Mexican food restaurant. I know you can order it, but it's never the same. I mean, you order enchiladas or fajitas or anything like that, and when they're to go and delivered, by the time they get to you, they're just not as good. They're not as hot. And Mexican food has so much like lard and all those awful things for you, but that taste amazing in it, that you have to eat it hot. And also, there's just the vibe. Mexican restaurants are always so loud and fun. And also, we eat it like 2 or 3 times a week, and I miss it so much. This is probably already 2 weeks in, or 3 weeks, I guess. The longest that I have gone without Mexican food, with the exception of, in my entire life, with the exception of the time that I lived in Germany for a year. And I actually even tried to eat Mexican food in Germany when I was living there, but as you can imagine, Mexican food in Germany is horrible. So but this is like 3 weeks, is the longest I've not had Mexican food. Sherry's making you a drink. Let me know what you made, girl. Won't it feel so decadent to eat Mexican in a restaurant with other people, says Bianca. I know other people who aren't related to me. Oh my God, I cannot wait to be around other people who aren't related to me. I saw that you, Bianca, I saw in your social that your neighborhood is doing this. Is it a bear hunt or something? Where you're putting teddy bears in your windows and the kids can walk through the neighborhood and try to spy the bears. That's so cute. I just think that's adorable. Let's see. Eat out at any good restaurant is what some people are saying. Holy moly. We've been doing some takeout. Like I said, we've got some, Cibo de Vino here in my neighborhood is doing a great takeout. Oddfellows. Whisk Crepes is giving you the kit so you can make crepes at home. Because again, like Mexican food, crepes are not something that deliver well. There's a lot of people just really being creative about that sort of stuff. But God, I want to eat in a restaurant so bad right now. Oh, and on a patio even. Suzanne, you have book club at 7. How are y'all doing book club? I assume you're doing it on Zoom. I've never been in a book club. I thought it was just you drank and you held books. Is that what you do? Do you just all hold the same book while you're drinking, or do you read and you all drink the same thing? Like I don't know exactly how that works. So let's see what else y'all are saying. Sorry, my nose is a little itchy today. So yeah. Oh, and the other thing that I was thinking about is so I saw earlier today that Disney is releasing the movie Onward, which was a movie that came out like a month ago. It came out like a minute before, and it was like the #1 movie when it came out. An animated movie. It's like a Pixar, I think, also. That it came out. It's about vampires or something. I'm not sure exactly what it's about. But because of coronavirus and the social distancing and the isolation stuff that we're doing right now, they're just taking it like straight to video. Like they went literally from blockbuster movie, #1 movie at the box office, to then like this week, tomorrow, they're releasing it on Disney Plus, so that you can watch it in your house. I'm excited about it. I want to see it. I love it. I have said all along though that if I actually don't like going to the movies at all. I think it's expensive. It's crowded. Now that they're fucking gunmen, it freaks me out to do that. My exception is there's a place called Cinepolis in Victory Park here close to us that has these big luxury seats, and somehow no one knows that it exists. So you can be at the movies and literally your family is the only, it's like a private screening. It's wonderful. And they have booze and food. But I have said that if someone were to come out with kind of like a Napster or a, what was it? StubHub, something like that, for first run movies that you pay to watch at your house. Like I would fucking pay like $200 a month probably for that subscription, so that you can watch them at your house and you can pause them when you need to pee, because I have a tiny bladder and so I never make it through a movie, especially every movie nowadays is 3 hours long. And also I could bail on it if I think it sucks, like fucking Cats. Kids loved it, but oh my God, I already hate that musical anyway. And so I was doing like Mother Teresa work, taking my children to see that. But oh my God, that was a horrible movie. But so I would love it. I would even put a tiny theater in my house, some big old comfy chairs. Sit there, maybe a wine bar, teach the kids how to be waiters. Totes the norm. But anyway, so what a weird thing though that Disney has had to. I feel bad for them. My Disney stock that I've owned forever is like in the tank right now. But how bad for them that first of all, they've had to close their park, so they're losing. I think I saw that they're losing like $30 million a day or something because the parks are all closed right now. That's something I want to do too. Melissa Ulrich, who's probably watching right now, she is the travel agent to the stars who want to go on a Disney trip, and she does all my Disney trips. She is the best. I've known her since college. Love her. TripsToTheMouse.com, I think, is her website. Anyway, I'm going to need some major social interaction. So maybe me and my sister will sneak away to a little Disney trip like we did a couple years ago. It's super fun. And then, Wes, send me your random questions. You're showing me some random questions. But what was I talking about? Oh, so Disney. So their parks are all closed. And then their movies are having to tank because they can't put them in the theaters. So they're fortunately putting them on the Disney Plus, which I assume Disney Plus is doing well right now because they got a gazillion people who subscribe to it. And then I'm sure a lot more people have subscribed to it than that. And we're all streaming in Texas according to the surveys were the drinkingest people too. So cheers. Wesley wants me to text me your pool guy's number. Okay, I will. And what he charges. You can text it. Okay, I won't tell you now. I actually don't know what anything costs. The pool's finished, so good job. That was record time. I love it. Arden is asking, Mike, my sister's husband, is saying, no. We're just going out for milk and cigarettes, Mike. Don't worry about us. Don't worry. But we'll be back soon. Arden is asking me, what is my favorite Disney movie? So, my favorite ride at Disney World is the Peter Pan ride. I just think it is so beautiful and so well done, and it it almost makes me cry. I just think it is so beautiful. That movie is not my favorite movie. I do like it though. In terms of the animated movies, I love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I think that is a fantastic movie. I used to love Little Mermaid and The Lion King, but those now by today's standards, my kids watched them and they're like, "What's this bullshit?" They look so ugly, the old ones, because they were so grainy and stuff by comparison. You could turn on Toy Story, and this bitch is gonna cry. I cry the last episode, the Toy Story 3. I haven't seen 4. People have said it will destroy you emotionally, and I don't watch This Is Us because everyone's like, "Oh, it's so good. You're emotionally devastated at the end." I'm like, who fucking wants that? And so I won't watch Toy Story 4 for that exact reason. But Toy Story 3, there are a couple of scenes in that movie that will bring me to full-on bawling tears. So there's the one where they're about to go into the incinerator, and he reaches his hand out, and oh my God, I lose it. And then the one that really just ugly cry, I'm heaving, I am hoping that they don't turn the fucking lights on in the movie theater at the end of the movie, is at the very end when, and I'm probably going to make myself choke up a little bit here talking about it, at the very end when Andy gives away his toys. Oh my God, that scene right there kills me. And I cry, as you can see right now, I tear up really easily, and I cry really easily at emotional movies, at happy movies. Fuck. If it's anything other than a laugh, it's going to be a cry for me. So, and even sometimes it transitions from one to the other. So, Moana, I love Moana. It is such a beautiful movie. I love Frozen, and I thought Frozen 2 was wonderful. Although I cried when spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Frozen 2 and you don't want to hear a spoiler, close your ears first, see the second. I cried like it was my own grandmother when Olaf died. When Olaf died, I was like, "What the fuck you, Disney? I hate all of you. Why would you kill him?" And then fortunately he comes back at the end, so whatever. And then when Anna had that super deep, it was Anna, had that super deep, borderline suicide moment where she was gonna just let herself die, and then she sings a song about one step at a time or one day at a time or go to an AA meeting or so. I don't remember what the song was about, but it was something like that. Crying again. And then there was some phrase that her husband said in it, and I can't remember what it was. Our love is stronger than this, or our love can be strong if we need it to be, or something just dead. I love that movie. I love all the Frozen movies. So we'll see what y'all are saying. Good question, by the way, and led to a 5-minute monologue. I haven't drank this much since college. My liver is getting a workout, says Kim Packard. Oh, I've been training my whole life for this. So, cheers, girl. Suzanne says she cannot watch Toy Story 4 either. She was a wreck on 3. Seriously, I won't even try it. I may have to, if I ever want to see that movie, I'm going to watch it all by myself. Because you know what my kid's favorite show is? Turning any fucking show on that makes me cry, and then they go looking straight at me. It's sad scene, look at daddy. Sad scene, look at daddy. It's the funniest thing. And so we watch Schitt's Creek a lot here at the house. And I tell you, there's a couple of episodes, I'll tell you the scenes. So Schitt's Creek, if you do not watch it, that is a show you should be binging right now. Best show in years that has been made. It is so absurd, but then also has so much humanity to it and such warmth, like in an absurd way. Like I love it. And when Moira and David specifically start to show a little bit of their softer side, I just die. And so there's the scenes where like David is getting serenaded to Simply the Best, just waterworks for me. And then Moira is all sensitive about it, and it just waterworks to me. And then there's the flip scene where David is lip syncing, serenading to Patrick, the exact same song, waterworks. And the kids are like, why does that make you cry so hard? And I'm like, because growing up as a little gay boy in South Texas, there was never shit like that on television. So I thought I was alone, and we didn't have the internet back then or anything. And so you didn't know. And so to see that on television, it's like, even now, I mean, I'm 45 and a half years old at this point. And so, or maybe not and a half, I don't know. It feels like it's been 8 months since my birthday, and I think it's only been 3, maybe 4. But Melissa Escamilla loves Schitt's Creek. So I even watch it with my children. I watch it with my 10 and 11-year-olds, and they know all the scenes. You know, they already know all the cuss words. So, and actually, that show I think they dropped one F-bomb episode just to kind of keep it risque, but everything else is very, very kind. So, anyway, do y'all have any other? Arden is asking, what's the best Halloween costume I have ever worn? Well, I've done drag a few times for Halloween. We did my favorite one though was Todd and I were part of a Golden Girls quartet. So our friend Colin, whose grandmother had just passed away, we all four, Colin, his husband, Todd, and I, went into her closet and picked out 4 outfits from the same woman's closet, and we were 4 different Golden Girls. And I, of course, was Dorothy. Todd was Sophia. And, you know, everyone thinks Todd's so serious, but when he gets his mind behind something, he is so fucking zany about it. He was obsessed. He, like, trolled eBay to find the perfect little purse to carry, and we still have it. Claire carries it around. We got the wigs floating around the house here somewhere. We both have the perfect wigs for it. I had the slouchy boots, and I had the most comfortable outfit of the rest of them. Obviously, Blanche was all trussed up, and Rose was just in a really cute little dress. And Todd was little Sophia Granny with the glasses and the little tight curled wig and all that stuff. It was so funny. And that's another really funny thing about, I mean, our kids, I don't have stories. They're like, oh, you remember that time we were playing in Daddy's Dorothy Spornak wig? How many kids have that? But I love it. So anyway, it's been 28 minutes. I say I keep these under 30 minutes. It's a 30-minute show once a day. That's my show, weekdays at 4:15. So I love you. If you have any questions or suggestions for content, let me know and send it to me. I can't wait to talk to you again tomorrow. I love you. I say this every time. I love you. Know you are loved. And I am so glad that you let me do this. This is cheaper than therapy. It helps me get it out. I hope I bring some light to your day. Some fashion. Hermes. I should have worn it like this. Oh, that would have been funnier. No. I hate when I get the joke too late. That's the worst. So anyway, I love y'all. Bye. See you tomorrow at 4:15. Tune in. Okay? Bye.